Alright guys, for your warm-up today, I want you to go ahead and head your journal. And in your journal, head the title, Function or Not. Today is September 20th. And I want you to make a T-chart that says Function and Not a Function. After you're done with that, I'm going to explain what the warm-up is. It's just the beginning part of class, and then you're going to get your assignment in the beginning, or right after you're finished, so then you'll have time to work on your assignment, and whatever you don't finish will be homework. Now, once you have your T-chart in your journal, says function or not, Miss Osborne's going to hand out to every person this paper right here. And what this paper has are T-charts, ordered pairs, graphs, and mapping diagrams that we discussed yesterday. So you're going to use your notes from yesterday, and what I want you to do is cut out each rectangle, so each little rectangle that you're going to cut out. Then you're going to place that on the correct side of your T-chart, whether it's a function or whether it's not a function. After you're done with that, okay, justify why on the line below. Now, I don't want you to glue these in quite yet. I just want you to place them there, because after you're finished, you're going to check with your neighbor, and then we're going to go over it together. Then we'll glue them in. Okay? So again, cut each rectangle out, then justify whether it is or not. Remember, with every graph, you can justify it with a vertical line. You can highlight to show me the x values, or circle, whatever is best for you. Okay, so go ahead and take about 10 minutes to work on that. Again, once you're finished, check with your neighbor, see if you guys have the same answers, and then when everyone's close to being finished after 10-15 minutes, Ms. Osborne will push play and we'll discuss every single rectangle and where it goes. Alright, let's begin. So I'm going to start off with the mapping diagrams. There's only 2 mapping diagrams that you had to cut off. So, let's discuss each one. The first one I'm going to look at is the -2, 1, 5, and -3. Remember that the left circle represents our x values. The right circle represents the y values for each one. Now, this one on the left, okay, I noticed that there's only one line going from each of the x values, which means that if I wrote these out as ordered pairs, this would represent a function, because every single x value is only written there once. This one, on the other hand, if I look at the points, it'd be 5, 4, 5, 1, -3, -4, and -3, -2. 5 and 3 are doubled because there's 2 lines coming from each one. So that one would be a non-function. So hopefully you got the mapping diagrams correct. Let's go to the coordinate grid, or sorry, let's go to the ordered pairs now. So we have a couple of these. First one I grabbed is going to be the 0, 2, 0, 4, 0, 6, and 0, 8. So if I'm looking at this group of ordered pairs, I'm going to look for the x values, because remember, a function represents that the x values are not repeated. If I look at all the x values, and I'm going to highlight the x values, it's 0, 0, 0, 0, which means those are repeated. That's going to go on the non-function side. The next one that I have is 5, 8. So 5 is the x value, 3, -2, and 0. Am I repeating any of those? No, so that would be on the function side. The next one I have starts with 0, 0, 3, -1, -5, -5, and 4 is 0. Again, if I just look at the x values, whether you highlight or circle, I have 0, 3, -5, and 4. They're all different, which means that would go on the function side. The next one that I have is 5, 5, 4, 4, 3, 3, 2, 2. Again, I'm just looking at the x values, and that one should also be on the function side. Now I'm going to rearrange these once we get them in a proper location before I glue it. The next one is 6, 1. So 6 is the x value, 4, 2, 4, 6, and 2. There is an issue here because I have 6 as the x value 2 times, which means that would be a non-function. And then the last ordered pair that I have is this one. It's 2, 4, 2, 5, 2, 6, 2, 7, All of the x values here are 2, which is a problem, so that's going to be on the non-function side. So you should have had 3 and 3 for the ordered pairs. Okay, now let's keep going. Let's go to the XY tables now. So for the XY tables, again, a function means that the x's are all different. So if I pull this first one out, I'm looking at all the x values, this is a horizontal XY table, so they're going from left to right. So again, I have 3 is every single x value, which means that would be a non-function. How about this next one? I have 0, 4, 7, and 6. All are different, which means that would be considered a function. The next one is 2, 5, 8, and 1. All are different, so that should be also a function. Next one I grab, 0, 8, negative 2, and 6. All are different, so that would also be a function. Next one I have 4, 3, 4, and 6. Is this a function or not? Should have said not a function because the 4 is the same and I can't have a repeating x value. And the last one is 1, 2, 3, and 4. All are different x values, so that would be on the function side. So when it came to tables, okay, or function or mapping diagrams, I've split. I have 3 and 3 for ordered pairs, then I have 4 functions on this side and 2 non-functions on this side when it comes to the table. The last thing that you have are the graphs. So, for the first graph, now remember we talked about the vertical line test when it comes to the graph. Now this one's a little different because it depends on which one's the x and the y axis. I'm going to consider, since this is the bottom with the line at the bottom, I'm going to hold it like this, which means every point I have to draw a vertical line. So there's a vertical line, vertical line, vertical line, vertical line, vertical line. There's only one point of the function on each vertical line, so that is considered a function. Okay, same thing here, the line's at the bottom. So, if I draw a vertical line as many times as I need to, that hits it 1 time. This vertical line hits 3 times, so I can stop there, and that would be considered a non-function. The next one, again, this is the bottom because of the line, so I'm going to draw a vertical line through each point. That first vertical line has 3 points on it, so this would be non-function. Now it doesn't matter about the rest, even though they only have 1 point on the line. That one vertical line with the 3 points would make that a non-function. This next one is sort of a sideways U, so again, vertical line. This first one might only hit it 1 time, but no matter where else on this function, it's always going to hit it twice. So that would be considered a non-function. This next one, again, this is a quadratic equation, so if I draw a vertical line through each or anywhere on this function, it's only going to hit it 1 time, which means that is a function. And then the very last one, draw a vertical line through each of these points, and that looks like it's a function, so I'm going to put that on the function side. So now looking overall at what I have, I have one map and diagram example of each. I have 3 and 3 functions and non-functions. I have 4 XY tables that are functions, 2 that are not, and I have 3 graphs that are functions and 3 that are not. I'm going to give you a couple minutes to glue that in, and once you're done, then I will discuss the homework. So please pause the video until everyone's finished. When you're finished, it should look like this. Make sure you have everything located correctly, because again, this is a great tool that you can go back and look at for your homework tonight as well as later on. Alright, once you're finished with that, keep that out on your desk because you're going to need to refer that back to that for your assignment. What Miss Osborne's going to hand out to you next is this 4-2. The first side says problem solving, practice B, and then the back are some EOC type questions that are multiple choice. So before you get it, or maybe if you get it right now, please pay attention to what I expect. Again, this is your homework if not finished in class. So for the first side where it says 4-2 problem solving, it says give the domain and range for each relation and tell if it's a function or not. So that's exactly what I need to do. Remember we talked about domain and range yesterday. What I want you to do for each of these lines is put D for domain, R for range. And what you're going to do is you're going to list the domain and range. So if you remember, domains are the x values. So if I look at this mapping diagram, the domains here are 6, 7, and 8. And the ranges are just 1 and 2. Now the third line is going to tell whether this relation is a function or not. A relation is just the relationship between the x and the y. So making those coordinate grid points. And tell me if it's a function or not. So I'm looking for those x values. If I notice, I want you to actually explain too, and the way you can explain is by highlighting what makes it a function or what doesn't. So if I look at the x values, I notice that the 6 has 2 points, 6,1 and 6,2, which means this is not a function. So I'm going to write not function on that line. So that's what I expect you to do for 2, 3, and 4. Identify your domain and range and whether it's a function or not. Okay, 5 and 6 at the bottom are just read the question, use the graph, and determine if it's a function or not, or what's the range and domain, whatever it's asking. On the other side, this is practice B. It says express the relation as a table, graph, and mapping diagram. So you're going to use the ordered pairs that they give you for 1 and 2. You're going to put that into a table. You're going to put those points on a graph, and you're going to identify or put these points into a mapping diagram. Okay, so you're just transferring the data using a different representation from the coordinate grids or coordinate points to a table, grid, and mapping diagram. 3, 4, and 5, again it says give the domain and range, sort of like you did on the number 1, 2, 3, and 4 on the other side. And then tell whether it's a function or not. So again, identify the domain, ranges, function, yes or no, and explain why. Are all the x's different? What x value is the same if it's not? And then the back is just self-explanatory. Again, I want to see you highlighting, circling. That shows me that you understand what a function is or not. Vertical line test, draw it out. Okay, mapping diagram, write the points off to the side. Tell me what the ordered pairs actually are. Okay, whatever you finish is your homework for tonight. When you're done, if you finish in class, you can turn it into the tray, and then tomorrow when you walk into class, just grab it out of the tray, put it in your homework hotspot, and then start on your warm-up. Okay, have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow.